Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your preview show. I'm your host Khalid Moeedin. I'm joined by a special guest today, Zainab Abbas, and we're going to be talking about the series between South Africa and Pakistan. Now, as you guys know, it's a massive series, I think, for both sides. Obviously, Pakistan hasn't seen South Africa there for over 13 years, and so it's the first time that they're going to be there in Pakistan playing a competitive test match. And as you've heard from everybody, from Mark Boucher to Quentin de Kock, to Hafiz Rabada, we're expecting a fighting Pakistan side. Now, a lot of people might be saying maybe Pakistan is a little bit less experienced than normal, but on my side, I always know that Pakistan's going to come with a fight and give us a very tough series. So, Zainab, I needed to talk to you because you've always been the one that is the specialist when it comes to Pakistan, from my point of view, that from the circle that I know. So, I just want you to first welcome you to Cricket Fanatics Magazine because it's the first time that you're on this platform. And how is it over there in Pakistan?
Thank you so much, Khalid, for having me on your show once again. I remember when I came to South Africa, we did I did one show with you then as well, which was like, it's been a long time now. I think it's been like 2 years since then or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, everything is fine. Everything is good. Obviously, because of the pandemic, things have kind of slowed down in many different aspects of life. But cricket is one thing that's continued within Pakistan. We had Zimbabwe over, and then we had some of the PSL remaining games in November.
Yeah.
So we still had cricket going, and we've still got a lot of cricket ahead. So Pakistan, in that sense, you know, fortunately, I would say, has managed to keep the cricket resuming, and I think that's a good thing because everybody wants to be tuning in, watching their favorite players, watching their teams out there within, of course, all the limitations that we have and all the precautions that teams have to take, be in a biosecure bubble, all of that. So yeah, looking forward to the Pakistan South Africa series.
Yeah, me too. I mean, South Africa obviously had some trouble over here with regards to getting cricket off the ground. But luckily, I would say luckily, but when the pandemic hit us, we were kind of in our winter period anyway. So it was for the first couple of weeks or so, or month, there wasn't any cricket really happening anyway. So we were kind of lucky that that happened. But once it started, I think it's been quite smooth. I mean, obviously, we had some problems with England, of course, when they came down here, but and Sri Lanka, it was pretty smooth when Sri Lanka was here. But how did Pakistan do it? I mean, to have cricket consistently over there as well over the time. Or what are you guys doing right? What can we learn from you?
But Pakistan has had its phases of coronavirus where it's been at times peaking and at times it's been pretty stable in terms of the rates have come down eventually. So I think comparatively, like if you, let's say, compare Pakistan to our neighbors, India, I mean, things have been much better here. So that's a fact. Even if you look at the numbers, that's how it's been. The other thing is Pakistan does not have any quarantine rules as such, which are very strict for cricketers. I'm seeing that every team that's coming by has to quarantine for 2 weeks. That hasn't been the case here. Even for PSL, teams flew. I mean, there were players that flew right from Dubai from IPL and came here. They were here for like 2 days, and then straight away they were playing their matches. What is happening is that the players and the broadcast team and everybody who's involved is getting tested prior to the match, and of course you have to be clear in that sense to for things to go forward. So I think they've just figured out a way to make things work, and so far so good. To be honest, there's been no case as such. The players are in a very very strict bubble, like they're not allowed to leave their hotels and their designated spots and designated areas. The broadcast team, I don't know. I mean, um, yeah, I mean, I was part of the PSL. We were kind of like allowed to step out, if I'm being honest, but it was just a case of a personal choice. And I think people are generally being like, well, most of the people who are working on a series generally try and be careful. Take all the precautions, wear the mask, sanitize your hands. And just be careful. So, just limit the exposure that you have. So, I think that's how it's being managed, and I think a lot of teams and a lot of players are willing to come because of the quarantine rules, because there's no quarantine rule as such. That's why it's much easier.
Yeah, and the security has been awesome as well. I mean, I heard Quentin de Kock speak about it, and he said he felt a lot safer when he got there because there was a lot of questions surrounding the team. They said that they were a bit scared, but once they got to the airport and they landed and they got the security escort basically to the hotels, they felt a lot safer, and that's very good to hear that they felt so safe in Pakistan. And I'm so happy that they do. Really excited to get the cricket on the way though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think South Africa is touring after so many years. Uh, I mean, I don't remember the last time. I think when the last time South Africa toured, I was probably a kid or something. Like I probably wasn't even doing this what I'm doing now. So that's how long it's been. And yeah, I think the security here is really good. I have been working in this environment since the past 6 years, and I can tell you that we've never had an issue. We've never, in at least in those 6 years, we've never had an issue of anyone feeling threatened or not feeling safe. Once the players come here, they always go back with great feedback, and they always say that it looks bigger from the outside, but when you're there and you're meeting people, and people in Pakistan are generally so hospitable and cricket crazy that you don't feel it. Of course, you will be restricted, but that's the case everywhere because of the pandemic. As it is, you can't be as social as you were before, and you are going to be in a biosecure bubble. But players are getting familiar with the current times and how they need to adapt. Right? South Africa is still training. They have a training facility in Karachi next to them, so they're still getting the chance to get out. It's like
Yeah.
when Pakistan was touring New Zealand. They didn't really get that opportunity up until 2 weeks. They were constricted to just their rooms. So that is the kind of flexibility teams face, and they have state level security. They have bulletproof vans. I mean, it's yeah. I think there's no reason for any team to feel unsafe. Yeah.
Hmm. And if I can compare the grounds, because obviously there's not a lot for us to be able to basically base it on when we're talking about conditions, etc. I went back into the history books, of course, when it comes to Karachi and the stadium, and it was quite split between the seam bowlers and the spinners that took wickets. Now, specifically, the reverse swinging bowlers were taking the ones that were taking wickets in Karachi. That from my research that I've done, and we heard obviously Kagiso Rabada also speak about maybe a reverse swing playing a massive role. Can you maybe give me some sort of differences between obviously Rawalpindi and as well as Karachi?
Yeah, so I think Pindi is they have those kind of conditions which favor seamers more than as opposed to Karachi. Karachi is actually a flatter wicket generally, traditionally. And of course, with the passage of time, there's a bit of wear and tear, and that's where your spinners come into the play. There is, depending on the weather and conditions, there could be initial moisture, but that's the case with just having a new ball and getting something with it. But over a period of time, it does get pretty flat, and lots of runs have been scored in the past as well. So it really depends on how the groundsman is going to be preparing that wicket. And from what I know and from what I think, they are leaning towards, because of the fact that Pakistan has its share of spinners, they will be leaning towards preparing a spin friendly track, so to speak, because they've got Yasir Shah, and then they've got another guy in the squad with the name of Noman Ali, who has done really well in the domestic season recently. So I think the tracks will be favored towards the spin duo that Pakistan has. I don't think that the kind of bowling that South Africa has, they'll be prepared to prepare a green track. But Pindi, in terms of the the natural content of the soil, or just the natural conditions that you have in those two places, I think Pindi is generally more a friendlier place for. There's more in it for the seamers.
Yeah. So that's actually a smart move by Pakistan to prepare spinning tracks, because I think from seeing South Africa over the years how we've struggled to play in spinning conditions. So I think if we're going to give any test to the South African batsmen, I think it will be the best time for them to get tested at Karachi, because the first test is going to tell us so much about the side, how they've come along. The boys have been speaking about playing against spin and learning how to play against spin and been practicing. But we'll have to see it in test arena because it's a totally different ballgame when you're playing spinners in the test arena. Can you give me some insights into some of the players that we can look out for? Who should South Africa be wary of when it comes to Pakistan?
I think the obvious one is Babar Azam. I mean, he's somebody who's done exceptionally well for Pakistan over the years in all across all formats. And you have the top four, and then you have the top five, and Babar is like probably amongst there somewhere. So he's just a class batsman who can. It's a shame that he wasn't able to play in New Zealand, but he is a batsman who can play in all kinds of conditions and score runs in all kinds of conditions, and has the ability to score big hundreds as well. So in terms of batting, I think he is the number one gun player that Pakistan kind of is dependent on. But then you also have the bowlers now. Hassan Ali, he had a really good domestic season recently, and he's had his fair share of struggles with an injury. He's coming back after an injury, but he's bowled really well. He took 43 wickets in the domestic season recently, including he was a man of the series and a man of the Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, and so his confidence is quite high, and he's very well equipped with knowledge in terms of how to be bowling in these conditions. So I think I would be interested to see how he bowls. I mean, I can't because he's coming back after an injury. That's the interesting part. But he is aware of the conditions, and he knows them well. Then there's Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's also he's really quick. He's able to provide you with all the new ball breakthroughs because he has the ability to shape the ball away and bring it back in as well. You have the pacers for Pakistan, and then the spinners come through. I think a lot will be dependent on how Yasir Shah bowls, because he's been off color for a while now for Pakistan. I think that he's had success in places like the UAE where there is assistance for the spinners, but he's kind of struggled elsewhere. He's bowling in Pakistan after a while. Because when was the last test we played? We played, I think, we played Bangladesh. Yeah. So he's had his ups and downs. So I think it'll really be dependent if they are to produce spin-friendly tracks. And I'd be interested in seeing how Noman bowls, how Yasir Shah bowls. So I mean, these are the names that come on top of my head when we talk about the Pakistan team.
I'm gonna ask you to pick your two South African players that you are worried about. For me personally, I would say because of the way Quinton de Kock batted against Sri Lanka, he has a point to prove right now against Pakistan. He has a decent record against Pakistan. Kagiso Rabada, of course, I think because he's coming back, he'll be full of energy. Those are kind of the two guys that I'm picking out. But because you mentioned the spinning tracks, I have to say that we're going to have Dean Elgar fight away at the top of the order. But let me ask you, who are the guys that you are the most scared about as a Pakistani supporter, and obviously you're covering it from a Pakistan angle?
So I think even though you say that Quinton de Kock is looking for runs, I still think that he is somebody who Pakistan will need to watch out for, especially because of the fact that every time he has faced Pakistan, he's scored. I think he's got a decent record against Pakistan, and he scored a lot of runs. And his attacking nature generally, I feel like he can really take the momentum away from you very quickly. He has that ability to score quick runs. So I think if he can put Pakistan under a bit of pressure from the word go, I think Pakistan will find themselves in a bit of a predicament because of the fact that, remember, they're also under pressure. So I'll give you a bit of the background. Obviously, Pakistan lost the series against New Zealand, and there was absolute mayhem in the country with regards to Misbah and Waqar and like how they should be removed and how a new management needs to be put in place. They appeared before a committee a cricket committee which have given them a chance for the South African series, and it's pretty much clear that if Pakistan loses now, their jobs are pretty much at stake. So that's the kind of environment that Pakistan is going to be playing the game in. So I think that is going to be a huge factor as well. I mean, how does the team gel in? There's been a lot of, the usual blame game that you see when there has been failure. So I think Pakistan, what I'm trying to say is that they are under a bit of pressure to perform and to deliver, even though it's at home. But South Africa is a big side, and everybody's well aware of that. I mean, everybody's well aware of the potential they have. And Quinton de Kock is definitely one guy. And then Rabada, you can never rule a pacer out regardless of what the conditions are, because he's got extra pace, right? So that can be troubling for some of our guys. And remember, we have a lot of uncapped players that are
Yeah.
actually in the squad. There's been I don't remember the last time we had 8 or 9 uncapped players playing in one particular series, but they are trying new faces. And it'll be interesting to see how they cope with a quality bowler like Rabada. These are the two, like you said, if you had asked me before as well, I had these two names in my mind only because of the fact that proven themselves time over again. So, yeah, it should be an exciting contest.
Thanks a lot, Zainab, for coming on the show. Really good luck for the series. I hope you have an excellent series, and I hope it's a competitive one that you're obviously going to be covering.
Thank you so much, Khalid. I'm excited about it. I'll be flying to Karachi soon to cover it, so I'm looking forward to it. I just hope that the games are competitive and it's not one-sided either way. We've had some good test matches of late. Saw India, Australia, how that went. So I'm hoping that the Pakistan South Africa series is also equally competitive and interesting.
And just for the fans, Zainab, where can they find you? Where can they follow you and see your work, etc.?
So I have my Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as at Z Abbas Official, ZABBAS. And then if you type in, I also have my YouTube page. So I keep on posting stuff. And actually, I will be posting a lot of content there because I will be working closely with a lot of people. So you can tune in for all the updates on my YouTube channel as well, which is just by the name of Zainab Abbas.
Cool. Awesome. So I hope we're going to chat again throughout the series if you have some time to spare for us. But thanks a lot for coming on the show, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Khalid. Thank you so much for having me, and it was great speaking to you once again.